Hello, I'm your host, Cheese Breath, and this is Talking Cheese, where we review cheese. Each show I go to my local Wegmans and return with 3 cheeses to examine and determine which is truly the big cheese. Alright, let's not beat around the bush. Our first contestant is Société Roquefort. I'm sorry, my French is probably very rusty. I'm sure that's not how you properly say that. But, this is Roquefort, or Roqueforte, or... You know what I'm talking about. Okay, Société, or Society, Societe is the brand name. Roquefort AOP/PDO is the cheese name. And I'm pretty sure all those acronyms mean this stuff's hella official. Basically meaning it's pretty much protected by the country, which is France, and the European Union, that this is what it claims to be. It is truly this cheese from this part of the world made in the traditional manner it is supposed to be. There's no fooling around going on here. That's what the AOP PDO means. Little sticker here on the wrapping says it is 100% pure sheep's milk cheese, which is very interesting. I've never had sheep's cheese before. Had plenty of cows, couple goats, no sheep up to this point in my life, but that'll change today. Aged over 90 days, rich and intense flavor. It even has the ingredients listed here, which I'll read to you. Unpasteurized sheep's milk, salt, cheese cultures, enzymes, and Penicillium roqueforti, which of course is the fungus that gives this cheese its name. Of course, it is a blue cheese. When I went to the store, I was craving a blue cheese. I knew I had to get some kind of blue. Previously, I've had a type of like Huntsman's cheese, which is kind of a mix, like a marble cheese of double Gloucestershire and blue Stilton. I think that was my first ever blue cheese, really. I've also had Gorgonzola Mountain Picante, which highly recommend. Incredible cheese. Fantastic. And Montenegro I've had, which is dangerous. Be very careful with Montenegro. If you're not ready for it, baby steps with that one. Before we open this bad boy up, let's read our Wegmans description. Labeled Intense at Wegmans, of course, is sheep's cheese from France. Here we go. This legendary blue is one of the world's oldest cheese recipes. Its powerfully piquant, salty flavor and unctuous, some fantastic words here, silky texture are created by aging in Roquefort's famed limestone caves. So there you have it. Piquant and unctuous. Wow, I am excited. Without further ado, let's crack her open. Oh man, I'm starting to smell it already. Oh, it's kind of incredibly soft cheese. I'm kind of ruining it, unwrapping it a little bit. Got a little stuck to the wrapper, but that's okay. Oh, whoa! I shouldn't have done that. I gotta smell first. Whew! It smells blue. If you ever have blue cheese, you know what it smells like. Wow, incredibly soft. I feel the unctuous. I think that means like oily or something, and this is definitely that. Alright, I gotta eat it right now because it's falling apart in my hands. Whoa! Oh, get all that blue. I'm gonna get that blue off the knife. Let me just get a little bit of this mess I made here. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a fantastic cheese. Woo! Nothing wrong with that. That's just a good blue. I feel like that's a very standard. Nothing too shocking. Just like done well, blue, boom. The texture, I mean, it's not like a very practical texture in this world of ours. I feel like this might be a difficult cheese to store well and keep well preserved. But in your mouth, that's a great texture in your mouth. Hey, it tastes great. Like, it feels good going down. Very smooth. Silky, as was a word that they used. I'll have to agree with that. Wow. Pretty damn good. Nothing wrong with some Roquefort. Or Roqueforte. Somebody's gonna correct me. I'm always butchering this pronunciation. Should have brought napkins. I'll just wipe on the end of my description paper. Our next cheese. I thought I'd do a little palate cleanser here with the order, because this is labeled mild at Wegmans, though I've never had it. I can't really say, but it's called Satsinier with truffles, or as this says on the wrapper in Italian, Satsinier al tartufo, something like that. This is from cows, Italian cows, and our description is: the delicate, distinctive flavor of this amazing cheese is created by its coating of exotic spices, parentheses, like coriander, nutmeg, cinnamon, and cloves, and balanced perfectly by slivers of black truffle throughout the creamy interior. Go ahead, indulge. Wow, so right there in the description they're calling it an amazing cheese, and very indulgent. The spices, I'm interested in what it said about spices, because like nutmeg, cinnamon, that reminded me of the greatest drink on God's green earth, eggnog, which I drank over 5 gallons of this past holiday season. So I'm not really sure what coriander and cloves are going to do, but if a nutmeg and cinnamon give it a type of eggnoggy flavor, I'd be very happy with that. Truffles, I don't really know too much about them. I don't know if I've ever really eaten much truffles before, but I do understand they are a fungus. Just a fungus, a different kind of fungus than the penicillin in the Roqueforte, but hey, what could I say? Lots of fungus among us on the talking cheese today. Without further ado, let's crack her open. Ooh, another strong smeller right out the gate here is I'm just finishing unwrapping. Much more of a firmer cheese. It's not falling apart like the Roqueforte, which is nice practically. Interesting. As you can see, primary whitish cheesy color in the middle, black specks and dots throughout, and then the sides here are a definite, distinct gray, ashy, like, I don't know, almost like dark sand. So, give it a good smell. Whoa, interesting smell. I definitely smell all those spices that it was mentioning. It smells like, you're at your grandma's, and she's like whipping you up like a mean like dinner, like making something like over a oven range, like. And it also almost smells like Cool Ranch Doritos. If you know what I mean. You know the little green and red spices on the Dorito, and like if there's a lot of those little specks on one chip, you smell it more. You know just what I mean. Or put your whole damn head inside the bag, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So, without further ado, is the Satsunier with truffles. And I'm probably butchering that pronunciation as well, so please correct me and educate all of us. Okay, you got a little bit of the ashiness on the edges, and let's give it a shot. I don't really know if you were supposed to eat the edges, but I'm too late now. I'm into it. Interesting. These truffles are falling everywhere. This ash, I don't know what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a pretty good cheese. And I'll explain why. Very incredibly shocked at how mild the flavor was in contrast to the aroma. Smells pretty strong. Like smells really like it's gonna be very flavorful, but it's very mild. It's very mild, relaxed cheese. And perhaps this is just a personal preference of mine. I'm not too big of a mild fan, like, you know, like mozzarella and like all that, like that just, and provolone that bores the hell out of me. And this is another Italian mild cheese, and you can taste the similarity with those more common cheeses. I don't know. I'm just an intense guy. I like living on the edge. But hey, I mean, if you like a mild cheese, nothing wrong with this. The ashy, the sandy bits. I mean, it doesn't. You're not like chewing on rocks or anything like that. But they do have like a little rough edge texture, which is an interesting contrast with the very just smooth, very plain, mild center. They kind of are like that contrast, I think, that you need a little bit of to give it a little bit more flavor. And I actually wish, because like as you can see on this, I don't know if all these cheeses are prepared exactly the same, but there is only so much of the dark specks in the middle of the cheese. I actually wish that there were a bit more to contrast with the more plainer whitish cheese elements. And that's all I really have to say about that. Didn't really taste much spices. Definitely smelled them. So, kind of odd. Really surprised me biting into it. But if you like a mild cheese, this is still a lot more interesting than a mozzarella or provolone, and I feel like it could easily substitute for those and just be a little bit more flavorful, something different. That is definitely worth giving a shot. So I'm going to put that over here. Alright, and on to our final cheese of the night. This is collar hawker. Or something like that. There's some omelets on the first A here. Well, only A. Collar hawker. Someone help me out with that one. But this is another intense cheese coming from some cows of Switzerland origin. Nothing like some Swiss cows. I don't think I've ever really had... Well, of course I've had Swiss cheese, but I don't think I've ever had any other type of cheese from the Swiss. And I'm a big Swiss cheese fan. Shout out Swiss cheese. Underrated, gets a bad rap. Why? There was also a big sign on this at Wegmans. In big letters it said, raw milk cheese. So, interested in what difference that's going to make being from raw milk. But maybe the Roqueforte was too, because I also said it was unpasteurized. And here is the description. Shh! There's a secret... Oh, alright, I better whisper. There's a secret brine of wine and herbs that creates this delicious cheese's salty, buttery, toasted, nutty flavor. Its name means cellar sitter, which is just what happens for 10 months to bring this cheese to creamy perfection. Okay. Creamy perfection apparently is going to be here. Wow, whoever comes up with these descriptions at Wegmans, you're a hell of a hype man, or hype man or woman. Fantastic work. Just always knocking it out with the descriptions. I love them. Before I open this up, I wanted to mention the interesting image on this block of cheese. Superimpose the image here. This is a picture I took of the cheese at Wegmans. Just a interesting, almost sinister child's face. I'm not sure what that's about or what that means, but I'm intrigued. I had to grab it. Had to snatch it up. Without further ado, let's crack her open. Hard to open. Really wrapping up good. Who's ever wrapping the cheeses at Wegmans? Alright. Wow. Came out very beautiful. Very perfect looking cheese, you know? Very... No mistakes there. Let's give it a whiff. That's a good smell. It actually smells much like the Bella Vitano that was on our last episode. Looks very similar to it too, so perhaps it will taste similar as well. Let us find out. Here I go. Ceremonious cheese knife. Getting in there. Cutting the line. A cheese. Alright. Some of the edges are very hard to get off. Because you still want to eat the cheese around the edges, you know. You can't waste a speck of cheese. Alright, I am cheese breath. Alright, to waste a speck of cheese would just be blasphemous. But, alright, here we go. Got those little edges off. Big taste. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a fantastic cheese. Like I predicted through the smell, much like the Bella Vitano. It was very much the same. So, it's interesting, you know, these cheeses, they have different names, they come from different places, but, definitely, they are inspired by one another, in the cheese making process, or maybe by total coincidence, they just end up at the same place, you know? But wow, very good. Wow, fantastic. Nothing against it. I wouldn't call it intense. It's a little bit more flavorful than, our Satsenier. But, still, it's not really intense. This is a fine cheese, like a good middle ground cheese. If you're, like, afraid to get into this cheese tasting thing, this is a pretty good place to start, because I don't think this isn't going to do harm to anybody. This isn't, like, something anybody should be afraid of. It's just, it's flavorful, it's good, nothing wrong with it. Just a good old-fashioned cheese. Brine of wine and herbs, the salty, buttery, toasted, nutty. That's about right. I got some of that. Always have a hard time tasting the wine. I'm pretty sure the Bella Vitano was very hyped up to have wine as well. I mean, I guess that's what you get when you make wine and cheese. I don't know. I guess that's what you get when you mix some wine in your cheese making process. Age 10 months. Nothing wrong with it. Good cheese. I'm all about it. And now, we gotta rank them. I don't like to hurt any cheese's feelings, but this is what all cheese breaths must do. Tell the world which is the big cheese. So, in third place, second runner-up. That's what I want to say. Second runner-up is, trying to move my water out the way, the Satsenier with truffles. Nothing wrong with it. Great cheese. Lovely smell. A great mild. For mild cheese purposes. First runner-up. The Swiss Collarhacker. Great cheese. Nothing wrong with it. Wish it had a little bit of... You know what I think the Bella Vitano had? Might have had a couple more of those salt crystals or something. Maybe. But this is great. Highly recommend it. Try it. And our cheese of this talking cheese, the Societe Roccaforte. Oh! Woo! Ow! Ow! The worst thing about this cheese is it's hella soft and gonna be hard for me to store. Everything else about it, when it comes down to, you know, eating it, is fantastic. A great, just a standard blue cheese. Not really any big surprises with it, but that's fine. When you do something right, you do something right. And that's what this does. Well, that's it for this week's. That's it for this episode of Talking Cheese. 3 just pretty standard cheeses this week. I don't. That's just how it turned out. But hey, cheese is cheese, and I love it all. How do I close the show? Just blowing my mind, being totally wacky, fantastic, unique cheese, and you just gotta try it for yourself. Cheesy and candy-like, but in perfect harmony. Gotta give it to Kitchstoss Norwegian cheese. This was Talking Cheese, and I'm Cheese Breath. This is Talking Cheese. I'm sorry. This was Talking Cheese, and I was Cheese Breath. Good night, and stay cheesy.